Hello everyone, Tree Zero Emissions here. Okay, we're using the Roger charger for the first time right now. I just figured it out. I was watching one of his videos, and Roger's a great person. He's really amazing person, really. And I'm very grateful to him for making these available to people, to the public. There's a 1-year waiting list for that. I waited that time, and no problem at all. I was happy to wait. If you want to get one sooner, there's similar chargers you can get from, look up Ginger on Wheels, and he shows a charger and the link of where to get it. It looks similar to this, and it has an adjustment for the variable voltage, variable amperage. This charger literally was replacing 100 chargers. I have like 100 scooter chargers, just that I've saved over the years, and that's not many years, just a couple years. So the charger's going right now. It's charging up. We're charging at 3.9 amps right now. We're charging at 3.9 amps and 73.5 volts. So the way I adjusted this on this one, and please watch Roger's videos for yourself. What he was saying in the video I watched, he said, yeah, you can see what the wattage we're at. We're at 354 watts right now. So, pretty good. Let's see what the original chargers were. These are the original chargers. This is where I got the cords from. I cut the cords off the original charger and put it on that charger. Because I can charge that will go up to 15 amps. That's a variable amperage, variable voltage, variable amperage. So I set the voltage and I set the amperage. Never exceed what is safe for the battery though. And I think that's determined by the temperature the battery goes to. Here's our output, and also what the manufacturer recommends. The output, and on this scooter, on the Wolf King GTR, the manufacturer in the book, and the user guide, user manual, it said you can run 2 5-amp chargers. So that's 10 amps. I'm at half of that right now. So I'm only at half of what they recommend, what they said, what they're saying we can do. We can run 2 fast chargers, and they're 2 5-amp chargers. This is a 5-amp charger right here. As you can see, this is an actual really good charger right here. But it's 5 amps, but it's fixed. It's at 5 amps. You can't change the amperage. It has the wrong plug. This was for this is for many other scooters, but not this one. This is a welcome change because it's safer. This is safer. It's a safer plug in many ways. Let's see what we have here for power going in. Output 84 volts, 2 amps, which is 168 watts. Okay, so 168, so almost 170. And right here we're at 357, but we can change that easily. We can change how much power goes in there. Okay, so here's the dials. It's the volt dial right there, and this is the amp dial. And the way that we set that, and please watch the video for yourself. Please watch his video for yourself. But the way I set those, as I understood Roger to explain it, and I'm really grateful Roger made those videos, is you said, so the example he used was, he said if you have a 100-volt battery, then he would set the charger, if I understood him correctly, that he would set the charger at 101 volts. So just 1 volt over the voltage of the battery. So if the battery's a 100-volt battery, he set the voltage to 101. So that's 1 volt over, right? So with that information, since this is an 84-volt battery, right, even though it's not at that voltage now, right? So that's another question, like what does it matter what voltage the battery's at, what charge it's at? And I just did what I saw him do in the video. So I set it to 84 volts, and then I added 1 volt, which is 85 volts. I set it to 85. Now, let me think about this. So before setting the voltage, I put the current. So let's see, the current dial can turn from, let's say 12 o'clock let's say that's all the way left, right? All the way counterclockwise. It'll stop at 12, and then it'll go around and go back up to, let's say 10, right? That's the full range, right? Approximately. So Roger, if I understood him correctly, he said put the dial in the middle somewhere in the middle. So that would be, I'm thinking that's around maybe 5 o'clock, right? Around 5, right? Because we're starting at 12, and then 5, and then it goes to 10, right? This is an approximation. So in the middle, and then set the voltage. So I set the voltage, and please confirm this for yourself by looking up the video and also researching this on your own as well. I'm just telling you what I did, if I recall correctly, right? I could have already made a mistake, but I'm just sharing my experience as I recalled it. So with the amperage dial somewhere in the middle, right, between the two extremes, I set the voltage dial to the correct voltage. So I kept turning it, because when I first turned this on, it was at like 16 volts. So I turned it a lot to get it up to 84 volts. And then I added the 1 more volt, right? So this is the 84 volt fully charged. And that's what these chargers are, these original chargers. So that battery is called a 72 volt battery. It's called that. But that means 72 volts nominal. I don't know why they call it that. I know it's confusing, and I apologize for it being confusing. But you just have to look at the charger. That's the main thing, is look at the charger and see what it's charging at. Output. What's it putting out? Not what it takes in from the wall. That's what goes into from the wall, right? That goes from the wall. The wall's giving AC. This is converting it to DC, and this is our output. So this is 84 volts, 2 amps, which is 168 watts, okay? That's from one charger. We add both of those, we can add the watts together. We can add the amps together. But the voltage is going to be the same on both of these, okay? So if we look at this, you see that it says 84 volts output. 84 volts output, 2 amps, 168 watts, right? So we can add those watts together to see how much power that's putting into that battery. Now this charger can go up to, if I recall correctly, it can go up to 15 amps. Now the booklet says I can go up to 10 amps. So I'm at half of that. I'm not even at 5 amps, right? So I'm less than one fast charger. One fast charger sold by the company, right? I'm at less than that right now. But I'm just getting used to using the charger. And this charger replaces all other chargers, but you have to set it correctly. Okay, so it's very important. I would never walk away from this thing or leave it charging while I'm not home. I wouldn't do that, you know. And people know that there's been accidents with, you know, e-bikes and different things that are battery powered, even cell phones, right? Just things that are battery powered. And, you know, things improve because of that. I think things get better and better, and the quality gets better. So, but I think everyone's going to do their best to make the best, safest product they can right away. And I think that's where we are today. I mean, look at the Wolf King GTR. Look at this thing. It's a masterpiece of mechanical and electrical engineering. It's just a masterpiece. And this scooter handles so well. So some of the things I changed, and I do not recommend that you do this. Do not do what I did. I wanted the handlebars to be a little higher, so I slid this up. It was way down because this part that turns, it goes to about right, like maybe 1/4 of an inch down, and then the rest of that is grabbing this part, right? So some of this is grabbing this. This is kind of long, right? Yeah, don't do that. I'm just telling you, I wanted the handlebars to be a little higher, so I don't know if there's a way to extend that up so I don't have to do that. But I also moved the handlebars back. I changed the angle because I had the handlebars up before. And I don't know if they were straight up or a little bit back, but now they're more back, even more so. See how angled they are back? And that was to get the handlebars closer to me. One of the things I do, and I'm going to make a video on this, or a lot of videos on this, whenever I let go, whenever I'm planning to let go with one hand on a scooter, no matter how stable it is, because this is the most stable scooter that I've ever ridden. Well, this one and the Segway GT2, but this one goes a lot faster. The Segway GT2 goes about 45 miles an hour. This goes 65 miles an hour. That's a lot faster. But at any speed, even if it's stable at 10 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, if you're going to let go to scratch your head or just touch something on the scooter or point to something, some people let go and they crash, right? Because they hit a bump or something, or they accidentally hit the accelerator by accident, and the scooter just launches, right? And it might turn because you bumped this, and then you're not holding on with that hand, and the scooter launches forward, and the other hand might pull the steering wheel by accident, just like an instinct could make it crash. What I do, and I was taught this by Cameron, those of you that have watched my channel know who Cameron is. Cameron told me right away, because I kept having accidents where I kept twisting my body by accidentally letting go of the steering with one hand, and accidentally accelerating while I would let go of the steering. That was something that I kept doing, and I was having trouble with. I kept getting hurt doing that. I wasn't falling off the scooter, but I was coming really close to falling off, and it was making my body twist in a way that it didn't want to. So, but I was able to always catch it, but I could tell that there was going to be a crash soon, and I didn't want to keep doing that. Cameron suggested leaning forward on this, leaning your body weight on this, leaning my body weight up on this. And Cameron said, in addition to leaning his chest or his waist against the scooter when he's going to let go with one hand, in addition to doing that, he also puts his knee up here somewhere. He'll push his knee against this area. So he does both of those. And since I've done that, I haven't had any trouble with the scooter trying to go out of control because of accidentally bumping the throttle. So I just am really, really careful with that now. I just make sure I lean forward, and I'm just really careful. Actually, I have hit the throttle a couple times, but it didn't twist my body the way it did if I'm not leaning against the front. So by leaning my weight against the steering, leaning hard against it as hard as I can, and then letting go with one hand, and whatever I have to do, if I want to open my visor on my helmet, if I want to touch something on the handlebars, I want to point to something, or showing someone something, any of those things. It doesn't try to turn the wheel as easily if I bump the accelerator. So that's something I'll make some videos on. So I'm really super excited to be using this charger finally. Like I said, it's been a couple years already because I waited a year to order it. I waited a year to receive it from ordering it, and then after I ordered it and received it, I waited quite a while, I think maybe another year before using it. But I was just so excited to have it. I couldn't wait to use it. And when I got this scooter, when I got the Wolf King GTR, and I saw right in the booklet that it says, if you're charging with 2 5-amp fast chargers, you'll charge in 3.5 hours. When I saw that in the book, I said, I'm getting my charger out. I'm going to use that charger. So anyway, I'm super excited about this scooter. I do hope that the regenerative braking can be set stronger at low speeds. It's great at high speed, but when I get down to low speed, it seems to not even turn on at all, even though I have the setting on the highest strength. So I'm going to keep looking into that. I wrote the company, I mentioned that in another video. But aside from the regenerative braking, I'll say not meeting my needs at low speed. It works great at high speed. I hope I can get it going equally well at low speeds. But aside from that, I'm happy with the scooter. I love the tires. I love that they're self-sealing, self-healing. And make sure you read the tires. If they say puncture-proof, anti-puncture, there's so many words that can be used. And a lot of times that just means it's a thicker tire, but it doesn't mean it won't leak if you pull that nail out or if you get a nail in it. It has to have the self-sealing, self-healing gel in there. And it's not a liquid, it's a gel. It's like this thick gel that lines the tire. It's not moving around in there. It's just the gel that lines the tire, and it stays there. I'm so happy about that because I don't have to worry about stickers or pieces of glass going in there. Now, if a big piece of glass slices the tire, that's different. It's going to leak. But for me, I haven't had that happen. I always get nails and screws in tires, always. And since I've been using the self-sealing, self-healing tire technology, which they come that way, these scooters come this way, and I've seen people buy those tires, the replacement tires, and accidentally forget to ask for the self-sealing, self-healing tires, and there are tires that look exactly the same, and if you don't ask for the self-sealing, self-healing, you might accidentally buy the replacement tires that don't have that liner in there, that sealing liner. So you have to make sure you ask for it, and then look in the tire too. If you touch the tire inside, your finger's going to stick to that stuff really strong. It's like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch thick. Make sure your tire has that. And if you're buying your first scooter or buying a new scooter soon, and you don't want to deal with flat tires anymore, because no one does, make sure you look for those tires. If you're buying a scooter that doesn't have those self-healing tires, if it doesn't come with it, ask the company if they can put them on for you, if they can find them and put them on for you right away. You don't want to ride your new scooter and get a flat tire and have to walk home, right? Or have to take, get a ride home somehow. It's not something that anyone would enjoys that. No one enjoys that. I certainly don't enjoy getting flat tires. I've had many flat tires. I used to get 1 flat tire a week when I first got my first scooter. I used to get 1 to 2 flat tires a week. And now those days have come to an end, thanks to companies like Cabo, who say, we're going to give you the experience of not having to deal with all those flat tires. We're just going to give it to you with the scooter. It's already there. So thank you guys for making a great scooter. And I really hope we can get that regenerative braking stronger at low speed, all the way down to 0 RPM, all the way to a stop. I really hope we can do that. And I also hope that it can be a choice that when I let off the accelerator, this is a very advanced feature I'm going to talk about right now, okay? Because a lot of people are crashing on the Segway had this on their scooter for a while, where when you let off the accelerator, there was an option that you could set in the app where it would slow down just by letting off the accelerator. That's a very advanced feature. That's for like even pro racers could still crash if they weren't ready for it or used to it. It's something that you have to get used to, and it's not for everyone. But I happen to love that. I love the idea of not ever having to pull a brake lever. My brake is just letting off the accelerator. I love it. And I knew people that raced motorcycles, because I've had motorcycles since I was 3 years old. And I knew people that raced professionally and the joke was, and they weren't joking, I don't think they were joking, is that they don't ever use the brakes. They just let off the accelerator. And then we're talking about gas-powered engines, right? So we're not talking about electric regenerative braking. But when you let off the accelerator on a gas engine, there is the engine that can slow you down. It can slow you down, right? So that's what they were doing. They were going so fast that they weren't even using the brakes. And everyone would laugh when they would say that, and they knew it was true. And these guys were people that were winning races all the time in their class, which were pretty high up there in terms of experience. But I really like that ability, and I hope that this scooter can have that. The Wolf King GTR can have that ability someday, or that this can get an update that will allow it to do that. I would like to have that as an option. No, I don't think it should come turned on. I think that should be something that someone can turn on, and when you turn it on, maybe you have to read something that explains to you. Kind of like when you're renting a scooter, and it makes you kind of go through those lessons where it says these are the rules and all that. Well, maybe it would be something like that. It's like when you wanted to activate this really strong regenerative braking, where you just let off the accelerator and it slows the scooter down. You have to go through like a tutorial where you're kind of briefed on what that means, right? Because if you're coming into a turn and you let off the accelerator, it can just drop. You could just drop down, right? So I think a lot of people were crashing on scooters that were doing that, because there were some scooters that were doing that. Segway had the ability to do that, and I think enough people were complaining about it that I guess they withdrew that, or I don't know if they're looking into it, like changing it somehow, or what they're doing to it right now. I don't know what Segway's doing with that, but I think it's wonderful that they did that, and it's definitely forward thinking. It's like they're way advanced. Segway's going. The fact they did that to a scooter, I don't think there's anything that Segway won't do. I think they'll do anything, the fact that they did that. And I see the Wolf King GTR that way. I see this company as they just do what needs to be done. They're like, you know what, the battery needs to be able to come out easy. They did it. And when I bought this scooter, I said, I want to buy a spare battery. Can I buy one? And they didn't have any. So I'm going to be looking for that spare battery so that, basically, how long does it take to change the battery? A minute? Imagine that. Pull in after hours of riding, and then it takes 1 minute to change the battery. And then this battery fits in there really like snug and good. I saw some scooters, maybe there were earlier models, I don't know, but it looked like the battery was loose. Like Ginger on Wheels was showing how his was. I don't know if he locked his in there or not. Mine's definitely locked in, but it's in there firm. I mean, I'll show you. Like when I lift up on this, it doesn't move. I mean, it moves a little bit. See, that's it, just a little. It's really solid in there. It seals really well. I'm really happy with it. It's definitely more stable, more solid than my Dualtron Storm was. I still like the Storm though. The Storm was a good scooter. I just didn't like how it felt unstable at high speeds compared to this, if I compare it to this. Okay, it doesn't compare to this. I don't think anything compares to the Wolf King GTR. Right now, to me, nothing compares to it. I haven't ridden all the scooters, but I've ridden a lot of them. And really high-end scooters, and the suspension is really, really good. It's very stable, it's easy to ride, and I would say if it's your first scooter, you're going to go right for the scooter, I would say keep the settings on the low power. Just keep them on the low settings, get used to it. I would not recommend going fast right away. And just get used to the scooter, and definitely wear like a helmet and gear. You know, wear a helmet and wear knee pads, and I have a jacket that has all the padding in it, and for the back and for the arms and the shoulders. It protects everything. Okay, everyone, I have no idea what I'm going to call this video, but I'm super excited about using this charger, and this is going to be the charger I use from now on. And I'm just going to have different plugs for all the different scooters that I charge with it. Okay, everyone, have a great day. Until next time. Talk to you soon.